feel like that's what Mattox time is. It's where I share my simple thoughts, my complex thoughts in a very simple way. Yeah?
I kind of want to move you.
Okay. Where?
Okay.
Better?
Oh, okay.
Mattox time, episode 4. Last time we were talking about like good days and bad days, especially like just after the accident and during and around the surgery time. It was difficult because I wasn't doing anything. Like basically my lifestyle took a hard pause and I had to figure out how to be satisfied and fulfilled every day without doing what I do every day, which is train and go outside and exercise and live with endorphins running through my veins and everything. So the bad days started to come more frequently, and I noticed a very heavy correlation between my bad days and the quality of sleep that I got the night before. I noticed this first when I woke up pretty early one day to go to swimming with Jenna to film her at the pool, and I noticed I was just really cranky. Everyone was like looking at my arm and being like, "Oh, I'm so sorry," and I just like stared at them and I was like, "Shut up, like don't talk to me." And it's not fair to them. I know they mean well, but it's also hard when people are like, "Oh, you poor thing." But that day especially, I was like extra cranky about it. And as the days went on, I realized that like I had good days when I went to bed at 9 and I got to sleep in till 7 and get like 10 hours of sleep, which, you know, when you're recovering from a trauma, you need that kind of sleep to help you proceed through a day feeling good. If you don't have that kind of sleep and you're training every day, you can kind of mask that poor feeling with endorphins. You go for a 3-hour bike ride, everything is going to feel blissful and amazing. So that's one of the things I've been trying to think about is like, how can I optimize my sleep? I'm doing that just by living an ordinary life, like not, you know, drinking or going out, but just like making sure I'm, you know, preparing myself for bedtime and going to bed on time. A couple of things that I'm using Via hemp gummies. Those have been helpful to like unwind and then sleep well. Pillar Performance magnesium or any, high dose magnesium before bedtime is good. And also our 8 Sleep mattress, which I know Jenna just loves and wants me to talk about more.
What was it called again?
If you haven't heard about it, 8 Sleep, we've had their mattress for like 3 or 4 years now, and it's like the best thing ever. Check it out. I won't get into it.
We'll put a code in the description.
Yeah. I think we have codes for all of those things. I didn't mean for that to happen, but so sleep, super important. The other thing that Jenna and I have put our heads together and thought about during one of my bad days, I was like, how can I get out of this? I need something to like kind of, I need to take control over some things, because when you're in a situation like this, it feels like you have no control over everything. So we came up with RAD Life, RAD Life. And what that stands for are the 3 things you can very much control in an uncontrollable situation. And we're not talking about like an uncontrollable moment during a race, but this is just like when you're dealing with things in your life that's kind of spread out week over week, that you feel like you're losing control over, think about RAD Life. Regimen, attitude, and diet. Those 3 things I've been thinking about a lot lately. We'll start with the R in regimen. I realized when I'm training a lot, when I'm training like 25 to 30 hours a week, I'm planning out my week. I'm putting all of my workouts on my calendar ahead of time. I'm making sure I'm leaving slots to eat, so I'm eating correctly and at the right time. So basically my life just becomes very regimented. It's different from like discipline, because you're not like forcing yourself in the moment to do these things, but like you're planning ahead. You're putting these things on your calendar. For people who have 9-to-5 jobs, you understand the importance of this, because in order to get your workouts in, you have to plan ahead. You have to plan breaks in your schedule. And for me, it's the opposite. It's like I have this entire day to work with. I need a plan when I'm going to do these things, when I'm going to eat a meal, when I'm going to get on my bike and spin out or whatever. Because I noticed, like, right now I'm just doing a bunch of easy workouts. I'm doing like 2 hours easy spinning on the bike, like literally 165 watts. And if I don't plan ahead, if I don't put that on my calendar, I really neglect it. I wake up and I'm like, I'll get to that whenever, because it's not a serious workout. It's not a serious thought. But if I plan it, it becomes a serious workout, and I can really find myself enjoying it, actually getting into it and enjoying it. Attitude is the second thing. That's a pretty simple one to explain, because right now I have bad days and I'm cranky about things that other people do maybe, and I have to understand that that's an uncontrollable situation, but what I can control is my attitude towards those things. So remembering the A in RAD Life just helps me put a positive spin on things. And then the third is diet, which is actually how this all started, thinking about like what I can heavily control in this uncontrollable situation. Diet has been something that I kind of struggled with at first when this happened, because you have to completely change the way you're eating or else you're just going to gain 5 pounds every week. So I won't get into the particulars of how I'm eating, but basically it's just very clean eating, a lot of fruits and vegetables, a lot of things that just help my digestion continue to function without like hard, long workouts every day, and keeping track of my weight so I'm not just withering away, because the last thing I want to do right now is undereat, because my shoulder needs nutrients to heal itself. It's not eating less, it's not removing things from my diet completely, but it's just understanding that is a controllable, and I'm doing what I need to do within the diet of RAD Life to stay focused and moving forward. So if you ever find yourself spiraling out of control, just think RAD Life.
You too can be rad.
Yeah. When I started thinking RAD Life, I noticed after a couple days a change in like my tolerance for intensity. As I mentioned last time, we see a sports psychologist, Jim Taylor, and I remember the first day we saw him, he took us through a survey, kind of a self-reflection survey, rating ourselves from 1 to 10 on a bunch of different things. One of them was how we function with intensity. And this means, like, are you the kind of person that in order to do well in a race, you need to listen to like heavy metal and be jumping up and down and slapping your chest and stuff? Or are you the kind of person that just calms down, listens to classical music, has a chat with their friends? Jenna is very much a socializer before racing, and it helps calm her down. And everybody has a varying degree of intensity of which they function best at. And I've noticed that since I've become more acquainted with like these controllables, my tolerance for intensity and like my function with intensity has actually gone up. So what I mean by that is, like, I find myself, I just did a 90-minute walk on the treadmill, and what I do is I turn it up to the highest incline at 15% and put it on a speed that I can just walk briskly at, and I put on my hoodie and I sweat a lot and I listen to long jammy music. That keeps me just like moving forward. And I've noticed that, like, as I become more regimented and putting these workouts on my schedule and getting a little more focused around them, I feel like I want to be a little more intense with them. I'm like craving that intensity rather than just like, all right, let's get through it. Let's try to distract myself. Let's try to just be calm about it. But I don't know if that's it's just something that I noticed. I'm not going to label it good or bad, but it's just something that I noticed how, that craving for intensity and the function with intensity has been there. And I like the way it feels right now. You do need to remind yourself when you feel like you need to be intense for every workout. It might be a reminder to just like go outside and do something chill, like change one of my 90-minute walks on the treadmill into just a trail walk that's really nice and easy. Because I do feel like you need it all. You can't just rely on intensity all the time. I guess is what I'm trying to say. Recovery is going well. I did get x-rays this past week at the 3.5 post-crash mark. Now it's been almost 4 weeks since the crash, and the doctor said that my scapula is healing very well. He said it looks good. So there's nothing to be concerned about. I was very nervous going into that x-ray because that was kind of the make or break to see, like, if my scapula was not healing correctly, we would need to figure something out, probably another surgery. But right now it looks good. I need another 2 or 3 weeks in a sling and really just continuing to baby this arm, just to make sure nothing gets out of place. Because the first 6 weeks of recovery for bones, I guess, is the critical time. And then after that, I still need to be careful. I heard a story today, actually, about someone who broke their collarbone, and it was healing great. 6 weeks later, they were playing, or I guess it was longer than 6 weeks, but eventually they thought it was healed. They were playing baseball, ran into someone in the outfield, and broke their collarbone again, and it got super displaced, and they had to get surgery. So I don't want to be the person that's like, I'm fine, and then I go out and do something stupid, and the bones in my scapula or my clavicle get displaced, and I need more time to recover or another surgery. So I'm not going to make that mistake. But other than that, I am looking forward to taking this sling off in the next couple of weeks. But the workouts are there. I've been upping the volume, both on the treadmill, indoor bike. Everything is easy. I'm going a little harder on the treadmill just to get my heart rate up, and it feels good. But the bike, we have a focus. We learned in our lactate test about what I needed, so we're able to fix those issues right now. It's a good time too. But yeah, volume is coming back, so we're 2+ hours now on the indoor bike, and the pool is going well. I've been kicking a lot and doing all my PT there when I can, or doing PT in here. And continuing to look ahead and continuing to learn about this whole thing, this whole journey of bone healing, and trying to be as creative as possible and trying to, live a rad life.
What's this new sling that you have on? This fishnet sling.
Yeah, my fishnet. I have 3 slings. 2 are for working out. 1 is for comfort. And the comfort one has a little more elasticity, so it like stretches out. This one is, holds things into place a little better. So there's less jostling.
It's breathable too.
Yeah, not really when you're wearing a hoodie under it.
That's true.
So. Gets the job done.
Well,
Fits the brief.
fits the brace. Okay.
All right. Yeah, I guess if you have any ideas for these segments, leave a comment. If you have any questions about the things that I am talking about, ask it in the comments, and I will respond.
Okay. Bye-bye.